Oh yeah, baby, let's crack this monster. Ready to go, ready to go. What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the Boys Crypto Show. I did just enter a long, not long ago, and we are a little underwater, speculating on a higher low on the 4-hour time frame here as we are forming this bigger idea that we've talked about on the stream. Let's look at bubbles. Boom, baby, red across the board. How did this even happen? We had the crypto summit today. We had Jerome Powell coming out and speaking about inflation, a big news event today. Two big ones coming in, a 2-in-1 hammer. Shout out to all my 2-in-1 users, some of the best kinds of shampoo conditioner combos out there in the world, baby. Look at this red, blood red in the streets. How is this even possible when we're having such good news? I'm glad you guys were here last night. I'm glad you guys were here. Let's crack this monster. We were saying, do not get confused. Do not get confused here on the Boys Crypto channel. We did not want to be jumping in, aping in FOMO this morning before I went to bed. Right before market open, I heard everybody, we're going to the moon, baby. The government's about to buy all our crypto. Oh my gosh, this is going to be crazy. I saw multi-million-dollar longs getting open on Bitfinex. What in the world? And they got taken for a trip to Rex City, baby. Getting taken to a trip to absolute Rex City. Is my chair? What am I sitting on? Oh, my coat from earlier. They got taken to a trip, one-way ticket to Rex City, baby. One-way ticket to Rex City. Why? Because the whales, as we know, if you've been watching this channel, just take these times of optimism and use it for exit liquidity for their positions, either to the upside or to the downside. When everybody starts longing, you need to start thinking, hey, maybe it's time that we get into a short, right? Maybe it's time we start looking for more downside or just not trade at all, right? Before these big news events, because the whales are going to use that as a time to exit their bigger positions. They need people to long. They need people to buy in order to sell their big positions. Think about those people who own thousands and thousands of Bitcoin, institutions that own multi-thousands of Bitcoin, and you're looking at a way to exit the market, and you need people to long on FOMO, and that's exactly what happened today as we had a run-up this morning. We had a massive run-up this morning up to about $91,000, and since then crashed down into the crypto abyss, baby. The crypto abyss. Welcome to everybody. Shout out to everyone in the chat. Wanda, Boys Crypto, that's me. What's up, baby? Hey, Michaela, how you doing? The winner of the Solana giveaway at 100 subscribers. We're at 150, baby, or almost at 150. 149. So we are climbing up that ladder. Another giveaway coming at 250 subscribers. Shout out to all you guys. And April, what is going on? Lily, how you doing? Hey, shout out to you guys. Thank you for spending your time here this Friday evening with me, and diving on into the charts to figure out what in the world is this carnage. Is there a chance of a bounce here? Are we looking for higher prices, or is this triangle here going to break to the lower side and bring Bitcoin dominance with it? What is going on with the altcoins? Can they bounce from here? Is this just the beginning of what looks like it could be the end of the bull market? I don't want to say it, but it's true. Could this be the end of the bull market? What levels are we going to be looking at from the macro if we are thinking about taking a long? We're going to dive into it all here today with you guys on this macro analysis video. What is going on? Drop your altcoins, drop your suggestions, drop your trading ideas in the chat. I'd love to go over each and every one of them with you guys here tonight on this beautiful Friday night. Shout out to you guys. Let's get the energy going with this Monster Rehab. Shout out to Monster Rehab. Not sponsored by them, but if you are watching, baby, I'm drinking you every night. Woo, baby, let's go into the charts. Let's dive in on the smaller time frames and see if we can break this down and see what's happening. So I entered along here where they stopped below this wick here on the 4-hour. this 4-hour candle here, closing in 25 minutes. We want to see this wick hold up and it's close in this trend here, right? And we're looking for a bounce to the upside. I'll be taking profits up here around $92,000 in the event that we do get that bounce. I can easily get wicked out here. It is the weekend. There are times of low liquidity. We are at an area of low liquidity in the market as the markets around the world, major markets are closed, institutions can't buy, and we are at the complete whims of the whales, individual holders that want to try and scoop up some cheap Bitcoin, baby, and take Bitcoin off the table at these higher prices. So the next 2 days, that's what we're going to be going through until we get to Sunday night at about 7:30, 8:30 when the Asian markets start open. This is a low liquidity environment, everybody. Warning, warning, warning. Low liquidity, baby. We're looking for a bounce here to the top of this trend line to come up here and test this 4-hour 200 SMA. And that, ladies and gentlemen, look, this weekend we can get a turnaround. It isn't all doom and gloom. If we bounce off this bottom trend line, come up, test the top, and we get a bullish retest of this upward trend line, you're looking at a breakout target from the symmetrical triangle all the way back to, yes, $108,000, $110,000, the all-time high, baby. And we are in a period of extreme greed or extreme fear when everybody's afraid to jump on into the market. This could be a golden opportunity for a long. So you can't blame me, everybody. I had to take the shot. I had to take the shot here on this higher low forming on the 4-hour. I had to. And yes, the trade is a little underwater. It is what it is. But we are looking for a bounce here on the 4-hour time frame out of the symmetrical triangle, baby. Out of this symmetrical triangle to the upside. Now, if this does break to the downside, I have to say, this would be cataclysmic for the market. We got news today. What have we been talking about on the channel here for the past few days? We have no idea how the crypto reserve is going to work, and lo and behold, what we said did come to fruition. We said that we don't know if the government's going to buy more or they're just going to hold on what they seized from Silk Valley, right? Or Silicon Valley, right? So that's where we're sitting right now. The government's saying, hey, we're just going to hold those coins. They never mentioned buying anymore. They did. You know what? They didn't even mention Cardano, XRP, Solana at the summit today. The officials came out and said those could just be coins that we add. We don't even know if we're going to add them. That was horrible for the market. Everybody was so bullish on that news. How is the president able to use his Twitter like that? That's crazy. That's crazy, baby. That's crazy. You could just say whatever you want on your Twitter and not be held accountable. You know, and you guys know I'm a Trump fan. It is what it is. But man, this has been absolute carnage. He has been doing nothing with his Twitter account but rocking the crypto market in a way that the industry does not deserve. What a slap in the face. Saying, oh yeah, Cardano, XRP, Solana are in there, baby. And officials coming out and saying, no, that was just hypothetical. Like, those could be coins. What? Coming from the president? That's crazy to me. That's crazy. But nevertheless, that is the truth, right? As we stand right now, no matter how bullish you are on the coin, we thought they were getting added to the reserve, and now there's that thing, uncertainty, that the markets hate, and that's why we're seeing this massive red day, because nobody knows. This is the week, this is the day here. Nobody knows what's going to happen. We don't know what coins are going to be added, and the coins yesterday that were on fire, XRP down, Solana down, Chainlink down, everything essentially down. Ethereum holding a little bit of strength here, looking really good. Sui down, just formed a partnership with World Liberty Fi. Solana taking the beat down as well. When is this going to end? We need certainty in the market, and we thought we were going to get that today. Oh, baby, let's dive into the charts. Bitcoin, baby, Bitcoin. Here's what I'm looking at on the smaller time frames. We need to crack. We need to start playing 200 MA dominoes here, ladies and gentlemen, or it is going to be a Nuketown. Shout out to all my Nuketown players for Call of Duty, baby, to the downside. So we need to break this 1 minute 200 SMA, sitting up here at about $86,134. We break that 200 MA and we could rock it up, break through this gap in the VRVP, that giant thigh gap there, right? The lady has the thigh gap. She stands upside down. You could kick a truck through that thigh gap. We could rock it up here to about 86.5 and be on our merry way. These, after the dump today, these moving averages are in a recipe for success for does present a recipe for success for us. Well, why? Because the dump happened so violently. You guys already got me out of breath, baby, this monster. Woo! Oh, if you're yelling all day like I am at the charts, you got to keep your uvula moistened, right? So, we are looking for this 1 minute 200 MA to crack. Or we're looking for this 1 minute 200 MA to crack. We did look at it up here, and that's what we were looking to get into our trade. And boom, baby, this has just been really struggling. We looked at this flag, we got in. We had a Dumperuski. Was this a 786? It looks like it could have been 786, baby. What do you want to bet? It came down to the 706. We bounced off that golden pocket, and here we are headed to the upside on the micro time frames. When you crack that 1, we're likely to come up to the 3. Look at these levels here for the 200 MAs. We're likely to come up to the 3, and then we're going to come up to the 5, right? Back to the 1. Look at these gaps in the 200 MAs. You crack 1, you're likely to come and test the next. So up here, look at these gaps. This is a $2,000 move for Bitcoin. Can be very massive on 2%, 2% move for Bitcoin, and it can happen very, very quickly if we start cracking these 200 MAs. The 1 minute 200 MA, baby, the first domino we gotta flick down in order to get this game started. So let's see if we can make that happen throughout the stream. Bulls, baby, bulls, come on, bulls, step in here. If we do not, and we reject from the 200 MA, and we do end up cracking this trend line to the downside for the 4-hour 200 MA, look at this target, ladies and gentlemen. It is so beautiful. It's so beautiful. Let's zoom out here on the macro. Where does this take us? A level that we were talking about forever here on the stream. That $72,000 to $68,000 level. Let's go to the daily. That $72,000 to $68,000 level that we've been talking about. A key area. Support resistance flip. You have a support resistance flip here. You have a high volume node. It is the 786 of the macro range here, coming up from swing low to swing high. That would be in confluence with the 78, or not the 786, the 618, 706 area. That does look like an area where we will get a massive reaction in the event that we do fall down there. So in response to that, we do have limit orders on Ethereum at $1,600 and Bitcoin at $70,000 in order to catch that drop if we do get it, right? But right now we are long, baby, long, speculating on this reversal. I don't know where price is going to go, but I know how to trade it, right? I'm looking here at this 4-hour time frame for a higher low that looks very likely with this wick forming here. Candle closing in about 20 minutos, maybe moving to Mexico soon. That's a new thing that's highlighted in my life. Maybe starting an Airbnb down there while we stream from the great city of Mexico. Not Mexico. We'll be going to the beach. We'll be going to the country of Mexico. Going to the beach, baby. Going to the beach, getting an Airbnb. I'm looking for a banana hammock. If any of you guys have a banana hammock recommendations, I know Sin Nasty Kid, man, if you guys got banana hammocks that recommendations, send them my way, send me the links on Amazon, drop them in the comments, I'm gonna need them from Mexico, baby. Whenever I don't have any pants on, I look like Casper the Ghost. I gotta get tanning in those areas, you know what I mean? Okay, here we go. 4-hour, looking for a higher low, a bounce to the upside. That's what we're looking at for Bitcoin. Over here to bubbles, we got redness across the street. Let's dive into Ethereum, something that has been showing some relative strength. We did have that dip to about $2,000 the other day. Oh my gosh, Ethereum, what are you doing, baby? What are you doing? We need Ethereum to rebound in order for these altcoins to get some breath. So we are looking at this diamond pattern here. For Ethereum, we do have a diamond. Whenever you enter a diamond, it is likely you come out the other way. This pattern does look broken. It looks ugly, but stick with me here. Stick with me. This looks like a textbook diamond to me. This looks like a diamond pattern, and it could even, you could even say it's breaking to the downside right now. I'm really not liking how that's looking for Ethereum. Yeah, it does look like it's rolling over, but this does signal a potential reversal. You enter the diamond, and you leave it generally the same way. Now, they could be continuation patterns, right? They're only about 65% accurate, but this does not look good for Ethereum. Breaking out to the downside, if you want to stretch, that's not a diamond anymore. This does not look like a diamond. If you guys go to a diamond store and you get a diamond that looks like a square for your lady, and she wanted a diamond shape, not going to be good for you, fellas. Not going to be good for you. So this is looking to roll over here. It's not looking good for Ethereum. We've been talking about the weakness Ethereum has been showing for the last couple of days. I don't want to see this fall down for Ethereum, but I am prepared in the event that this happens. Now, even on the 4-hour chart, look at this, baby. Even on the 4-hour chart, does that look unreasonable that we could get to $1,600? No. Why am I choosing $1,600 as my bounce level, baby? Let's zoom on out here and let's take a look. This $1,600 level is an area of massive, your next area of massive support for Ethereum. You have the high volume node here sitting at 1634. I believe my limit order is at 1625. I'm expecting a wick down into this zone and a bounce off of the area where most Ethereum has traded over the course of its life. It looks very likely that we get a retest there. I don't know if we're going there. If Bitcoin get it, sink its feet in here and turn around, baby, we are looking for a moonshot to the upside from Ethereum from where we are. We could form a low here. We've bounced once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, 6 times, baby, like the battering ram with the police when they're trying to break it down, when they're trying to break down Boy Crypto's door because he's making too good of trades. He's on 100x leverage and he's up 1,000% ROI on his trades, and they need him to stop or the whales are going to get absolutely wrecked. They don't want to allow him to have that liquidity as we go to the upside or the downside. So they break down that door. They're trying to break down that door. This should be illegal to trade this good, baby. I break the door once. The window cracks. Twice. I try to hold the door. 3 times. The door caves in. 4 times. The door snaps in half 5 times. The door blows through 6 times, baby. They're coming in. They're trying to tackle me down and put their knee on my neck. That is not what I want here in the near term. We have a giant gap down here to about $1,600. That's not what I want to see. That gap can happen very, very, very quickly. I do not like what Ethereum's seeing. You're talking about double top here. Double top in for Ethereum, that M shape. I don't like what I'm seeing for Ethereum. Until Ethereum can show some strength here in the near term, Ethereum just looks weak to me. It looks weak to me. Look at the daily 200 MA sitting up here at about almost $3,000. $3,000, baby, the daily. And we know when we're below the daily 200 MA, ooh, that monster's getting me a little bit there. We know when we're below the daily 200 MA, baby, we are taking a trip to Wreck City. Look, we closed the candle below the daily 200 MA, and we never look back. Close the candle, you can open up a short with the stop above the recent high, and you can ride this puppy to the downside. This is just how it works. You open up a long here, right? You close above the 200 MA, stop below here, you can ride that puppy to the upside. Same thing here. Close the candle below, stop below the recent high, you can ride this puppy to the downside. Same thing. Every single time you close the candle below the 200 MA, you're looking at least a 10% move, right? Has it happened every time? No, but you're looking at moves that you could ride these to the downside. It's insurance. Now, look, where the bear market start ending. You start getting over the 200 MA, that red line, baby, it is the do not pass go line. That's what you want to be looking at. Oh, it's a bear market, it's a bear market. Well, now we're getting close to 200 MA. If we close a candle above the 200 MA, look, if we just came back in time here, we had no other data, and we just looked at this and we said, oh, we got above that red line, I'm going to open up a long there with a stop below the recent low, and I'm just going to let it ride for the bull market. That was valid. That was very valid, right? And you would have been looking at, you could have taken out anything greater than a 5X and ridden it the entire way, all the way up to $4,000. You could have done that. That would have been an immaculate risk reward trade if you did take that. That 200 MA, baby, that massive, massive line in the sand, you need to pay attention to it. And anybody who doesn't pay attention to it is asking to get wrecked. Why is that so important, baby? Bitcoin's sitting right on it right now. Oh my gosh. Bitcoin, baby, we are right above that 200 MA. The difference between Boys Crypto being a bull and a bear. Now, why am I looking for a bounce? Because the 200 MA isn't necessarily the end-all be-all for the bull market, but I'm looking for that 786 bounce for that higher low to come in on the macro time frames. Woo! You guys got me fired up about Bitcoin tonight, baby. This is a high risk environment. The long is saved. Everybody. I did post this over on X if you guys are interested in looking at it. We're looking for that higher low in the 4-hour time frame. Let's get into what you guys want to get into. Thank you for hopping on into the chat. Shout out to everybody. Lily, Sin Nasty Kid, what's going on? Reviews Indonesia. Hey, what's going on, brother? What's going on? Michaela, J Crispy, what's going on, man? How you doing? Thanks for dropping in today. You might need a SpongeBob Speedo, brother. I would wear a SpongeBob Speedo like nobody else, I promise you, but everybody at the beach would be blind. I look like a piece of paper from the waist below. It is actually crazy. My lady sometimes draws on me a Sharpie marker when she's taking notes. It is wild how white I am down there. It's crazy. All right, let's dive in. My wife was in a bathing suit with a picture of my face. My wife has a bathing suit with a picture of my face. Yeah, man, hey, that's, get after it, dude. I'm sure that's very hot. Okay. Here we go. Diving on in the chat. Drop your altcoins. What do you guys want to go over? Drinking the monster every night. Michaela B, what's going on? Hello, friends. How are you? Drop your altcoins. Drop your questions in the chat. I'd love to go over all those with you. While we're doing that, look at this, baby. That head and shoulders we've been speculating on for Bitcoin dominance. Rearing its head here. Nobody's talking about Bitcoin dominance here, everybody. Bitcoin dominance, look. It could have topped at any point here. It really could have. But now we're seeing some of the strongest signs that we've seen. We've defied weekly bearish dip before, but not this strong. This weekly bearish divergence on Bitcoin dominance is screaming in our faces that this could be it. This could be it for Bitcoin dominance. We had that swing up in price. Woohoo! Trading view. Well, we have a swing down in price action, baby. That is classic bearish divergence saying that we are likely to break this low during that, which we haven't had since that alt season right before the election or during the election, right? We're likely to break this low before this high. We do that, we change macro market structure, right? And we create a lower low and we can speculate on a lower high coming in at our fib here, right? We can speculate on a lower high from that level coming up to the 786. Woo! We got that on the wrong side. but we can speculate on a lower high coming up wherever that 786 does come into play, that 618, 786, and ride this to the downside. Bitcoin dominance is looking to give here. Bitcoin dominance is looking to give here. Bitcoin dominance is looking to give here, everybody. Weekly bearish divergence screaming in our face. We're coming up to a macro 618, 786 retest here on our fibs. We pull from the swing high to the swing low, baby. And look at this. Look at the confluence. We're sitting right on the 618 here, potentially coming up to test the 706. Yes, we could get a little more squeeze up here to the 786, but this is the area where I'm looking for a top out of Bitcoin dominance. This is it. We flipped this upside down, and we've been going over this every day because I can't wait. We're going over it every single day, so at the end of the day, when we come on the stream and we're like, look at the cup and handle breaking out to the downside, I cannot wait for that day because it's coming, right? And if it doesn't come, you can say, Boys Crypto, you led me astray. This is for entertainment purposes only, everybody, not financial advice. But this is the area that I am looking at, baby, for a juicy altcoin positions. That's what I'm looking for juicy altcoin positions, because once alt season starts, it's likely to start from a 786 zone. It is likely to start with this inverse cup and handle forming on the weekly. Look at this gap in the VRVP. Look at that field goal post you could kick a truck through. Look at this drop that could happen for Bitcoin dominance. I'm seeing a drop for Bitcoin dominance at least down here to test the high, the flag, baby, the flag. And this is a wild target. This is a wild target, right? From the 618 area all the way down to about 27%. Woo! That would be wild for Bitcoin dominance. That would be the lowest Bitcoin dominance has ever been at a time where everybody's saying the altcoins are dead. This is it for the altcoins. When Bitcoin has more money in it than it ever has before, we could have $1 trillion injection into the altcoin market, flushing this to the downside. I really am liking this inverse cup and handle here forming on Bitcoin dominance. Let me know what you guys think about Bitcoin dominance in the chat. I would love to hear what you guys are thinking. We are above a lot of major 200 MAs, but we're coming up to a fib area. We have to respect this as an area where Bitcoin dominance may turn around. Now, if we do manage, and 786s don't always work out, right? We know that on this channel. If we did end up breaking this 66.68 area, right? This 786 zone, let's clear this up so it's a little nice. 66.8, 66.8, baby. 66.8. If we did get that break of that 66.8, 786 retracement area, look at this, baby. This looks like a classic W, right? We could, and we're looking at the bullish and the bearish cases. I'm not going back and forth between you guys. I'm telling you guys that I'm seeing a reversal. But in the event that we don't, right? This could be a nice W pattern that looks to break to the upside. That would say Bitcoin steals everything. Bitcoin steals the show. What resistances do you have? You have the prior high right here. You have the prior high, and you have these wicks up here that serve as resistance, but these are massive gaps in Bitcoin dominance. If we start seeing breaks above here, you're talking about Bitcoin stealing 20% from the altcoin market, $200 billion? What? That would be wild for the altcoins, and the altcoins would nuke like we've never seen them before. We may see altcoins below their bear market of 2021, and we already are. That's wild to me that we are seeing that, but we can potentially see that for Bitcoin dominance. Topping out here, baby. We are looking for a top out for Bitcoin dominance. We are at the line in the sand for these altcoins. 786 retracement, baby. This is what we're looking at. Inverse cup and handle to the 786. Woo, wrong way there. To the 786 from the last swing high. Swing high to swing low. We're coming up that golden pocket retrace zone out of the inverse cup and handle, baby. This is what we're looking at for Bitcoin dominance. And that's why on this channel, we are saying altcoin season is close. We are not just saying that every single week. We're not saying it out of nothing. We're not basing it off of absolutely nothing. Like, we hear on YouTube, oh, altcoin season, the next 10,000 exits right here on the road, right? I do post a lot of altcoin videos and where I think the potential is for the rest of this bull market, but that's the rest of this bull market. It hasn't started. It has not started, everybody. This bull market has not started for the altcoins, in my opinion. This massive cup and handle here can light altcoin season up like no one has ever seen it before, and I'll tell you what, it will catch everybody with their pants down. Look at these altcoin prices, multiply them by 10, and then you can start seeing, like I'm talking about in the top 100, right? Multiply them by 10, and then think about it, like how much more how much value you'll get off of investing in the altcoins at these cheap prices. And I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not giving you guys financial advice. I will tell you what I am doing. And right now I am diversifying into the altcoins, baby. I am diversifying into the altcoins, baby. And we just sold a house, got some juicy cash. We're buying some Bitcoin, buying some altcoins at these juicy prices because I believe this bull market is just getting started. Welcome to everybody who just jumped on into the chat. How are you guys? Thank you for jumping in. Wanda wants to look at ENA, the hottest coin, the hottest coin of the day. Good night. You guys ever have those puberty moments where it just kind of comes up and smacks you right in the face? ENA, was this not one of the hottest bubbles today? Yeah, it was. ENA getting a massive bounce here. Don't know much about the project. What is it, Athena? Yeah, I don't know much about it. It is in the top 100 though. And look at this for Athena. We did look at this the other day on the weekly. That would have gotten wicked out, that trade idea. I don't even remember when I drew that box, honestly. But here we go. ENA looking hot, baby. Looking hot like Boyce Crypto in his SpongeBob Speedo at the beach, blinding everybody, not from his whiteness, but from his beauty. It looks good, baby. It looks good here for Athena, playing 200 moving average dominoes, right? We knocked over. Let's go all the way back here to when it started, right? To when it started. So at the bottom, right? At the bottom, you crack the 200 MA on the 1. Then you're going to the 3. Then you're going to the 5, baby. Then you're going to the 5. Then you're going to the 15, right? And then you're going to the 1 hour. We cracked the 1 hour, and then we're going to the 2 hour. The 2 hour pending golden cross here, baby, on the 2 hour time frame. Looking good for Athena. Now the stochastics are kind of toast. We are getting that curve here. Looks really good. What I don't want to see is any kind of bearish divergence form here. How would that form? How can we project that in front ahead of when it's happening, right? Well, look how low the RSI is. Look how low the RSI is right here comparatively to this last swing high, right? This last swing high on the RSI. If we get this push up, if the push up is too quick for Athena, you will end up forming this higher high. And the RSI, which is a slower indicator, right, may top out around here and start curving down. That would form bearish divergence here in the near term. That's not what you want to see for Athena. You want to see some more consolidation, baby. You want to see this round down. You want to see this form more consolidation and then push further to the upside, right, to negate that bearish divergence from forming on the 2 hour time frame. That's a big time frame, right, to have 2 hour. With that being a 2 hour bearish divergence. With that being said, looking like the strongest coin in the game is the strongest coin of the game. It is our biggest booble, baby. Is our biggest booble here on the day. Athena ripping to the upside. I don't know if there's any news or anything that's going on with Athena, but looking good. Let's see what we're over the 3. We're testing the 4. Here's your line in the sand. When was the last time you were above the 4 hour 200 MA for Athena? All the way up here at $1.04. A whopping 100% move to the upside. 130% move for Athena is on the table here. Look at that gap, everybody. That field goal post so you can kick a truck through. Look at this gap in the VRVP that Athena can quickly gap up through. And for those who think that it can't happen, it definitely can. This is crypto. Anything could happen, and we know when we start playing 200 MA dominoes, we can start ripping really hard. And with this dump, based on the speed of it, you got your next, let's see the 200 MAs where they stand going to the upside. You got your 6 hour, baby. You got your 8 hour. You got your 12 hour. And you're going to come and test each and every single one of these until you get up to your next high volume node. It looks really good for Athena. Where's the daily here? Where's the daily? All right, daily cup handle. You have your cup handle. Let's see. Let's clear this up. Make it a little easier to see, baby. Easier to see. I like things that are easier to see. I don't really eat a lot of carrots, so I don't get that. I don't get that eyesight a lot of the youngins have. You know what I mean? I know I'm talking to you guys. I know everybody on my channel pretty much older than me. But welcome. But yeah. I can barely see, guys. I'm telling you. I got an enlarged optic nerve. It is what it is. It's like I don't know. It's like an early sign of glaucoma. But hey, baby, we're rolling with it. It's pretty cool. You could zoom in like a sniper scope. Right, you can zoom in like a sniper scope and zoom in at these charts, right? I just close my left eye and I can zoom in and I can pinpoint accurately target those 100x gains, baby, those 100x gains. Okay, here we go. Cup and handle to the downside, bouncing off that 886 area. Let's see if we can get that all the way up to the top. Yep, bouncing around that 886 area. Let's get this to the actual swing low. Yep, down around this 886 area. An area where altcoins do like to retrace, right? We're getting above the 786. That's okay. And you're sitting above a key area. A key area, baby, at about 41 cents here. That high volume node, the area where Ethena has transacted most, right? Where the most volume has transacted for Ethena back here around this 41 cent level to the upside for Ethena. The daily candle just starting and getting a very strong move to the upside. So you can start projecting here. You can start projecting the 21 coming up into price action here, baby. This is looking pretty promising for Ethena. You're going to start flagging out, right? And these flags aren't going to look really pretty, especially if Bitcoin starts to play its games. But yeah, I would wait for some more consolidation here on the smaller time frames. Yeah, so you're looking at the 15 minute, maybe presenting a good opportunity here with a flaggeroonie. A flaggeroonie to the upside for Ethena. This does look good. This does look good. Now, if Bitcoin does start playing its game and we get a colossal market dump, it's hard to think that anything's going to hold up here. But this flag does look pretty good for Ethena going further to the upside. You just got to start playing those 200 MA dominoes. I guarantee you have a big glob of liquidity right here. All the shorts that opened up when they found out that that the reserve wasn't what they thought it was. And you look at all this short liquidity up here. You have the potential for a massive short squeeze on this asset. Thank you, Wanda, for dropping that in the chat, putting that on our radar. That looks good, baby. That looks good to the upside for Ethena. That's what I'm seeing here in the near term. Look at that. The next high volume node coming in at 90 cents. Ooh, that looks good to me. That looks good to me. Thank you, Wanda. Thank you. I appreciate you dropping that in the chat. All right, ENA, it's a hot one. Keep that on your radar. Poppy praise. Poppy. What's going on, Poppy? All right, here we go. Let's dive on in. XRP for Poppy. Let's dive into XRP, the people's coin, baby, the people's coin. I did just drop a macro technical analysis video for XRP, Cardano, and Solana, the supposed strategic reserve winners. Lo and behold, when I dropped that video, I didn't know that was completely fabrication. You didn't think of that when it's coming from the president's Twitter, right? A little weird. Okay, so XRP, what I'm seeing here, we have consolidation here going on the daily. Looking really good for XRP here. I will say this, brother. I will say this. And this hypes me up because I want to put this on your radar, right? I'm not bearish for XRP. I am bullish, baby. I'm bullish above that 241 level, which we're currently above, but that remains to be seen, right? We've kind of been ranging in this area. Woo, let's get the monster going because XRP, the people's coin, we need this energy, baby. We need this energy. I know you guys trying to get a peep of this uvula, the curved uvula looking like Harry Potter's scar. You're not going to get it. Not today. Maybe at a milestone thing. Sin nasty kid, I need to control yourself, man, in front of the camera. Okay, here we go. All right, everybody, looking for XRP. This is going to be, I'm putting the trader stamp on this right now. XRP is going to be one of the strongest movers in this bull market, or in this market, right? I am bullish on XRP, I am. However, I will say this, if Bitcoin slips, XRP is sitting at a crossroads that no one's talking about this. Look at this triangle and look at the targets. And I'm going to put a downside target because if you're looking at upside targets, you got to consider the bear case, right? You got to consider the bear case, and you got to consider that so many people are down here. There's some people in the, shout out to the 99, the Lifers trading group, right? There's some people in the Lifers trading group that have 200x positions in on XRP down here that can, they may be able to sit for the rest of their lives, right? But there are so many people that are in here that are long on XRP. Caution, right? There's giant gaps in the VRVP here, which is what we're looking for big moves to the downside. You lose a high volume node, it's like throwing a ball off the hill. You start rolling down to the next high volume node. And I hate to say it, but on the downside, that's 145 for XRP, right? And I shout out to the XRP army. You guys have made some of the greatest gains in this bull market, but Bitcoin needs to hold its ground. It's unlikely XRP continues to run when Bitcoin starts tanking, right? On the other side, if Bitcoin regains its footing and starts pushing back out towards 100K, look at this, baby. This target getting above 241, that high volume node, and pushing higher all the way up to a $4.18 XRP target looks beautiful to me. And looks highly likely for another leg up for XRP. It looks good for XRP in my opinion, right? But I am sitting on my hands right now for XRP. I don't have a trade open on XRP. Why? I'm waiting. Trading plan for XRP. A breakout of this descending resistance line a breakout and a retest. I'm looking for this, either a breakout, retest, upside, or B, this is a trading plan for me, right? And this is just my opinions. You have a breakout, retest, upside, breakout, retest, downside. And I am only, if it breaks out of this line, this upward trend line, and it continues to run, it'll run without me, baby. I am not longing without a retest on one of these trend lines. I will not do it. I will not do it. Okay, so here's what we're looking at. I would end up opening up a long, right? And if this would be the low right here for XRP, say we turn around right here, I would put a stop below the low within the pattern, and I would take this puppy up 2 to 1 all the way to that $4.16 region. That's how I would be looking to long XRP here. Again, not financial advice, just my ideas. Now, I will short XRP. I'm not afraid of shorting XRP, baby. Why am I not afraid of shorting XRP? XRP has some of the biggest gaps in the VRVP here that have formed on any asset in this entire bull market. Say that was the top right there. This was a micro top for XRP, and we do end up breaking this range. We do end up breaking this range and retesting. If we get that, I will short. I will short from right here to stop loss above the previous high. I'm not afraid to short XRP, baby. Not afraid to do it. But if we get this break, and if it breaks and we don't get that retest, it'll fall without me. I don't care. That's not my trading strategy. Okay, so for a macro swing for XRP, I'm looking for a break to the downside or a break to the upside. For the short scenario, you're looking for a break of this $2.12 region, fall down to about $2, come back up to that $2.12 region. From that region, I will look at shorting this bad boy all the way down through this gap in the VRVP all the way. And yes, nobody thinks it can happen. Nobody thinks it can happen. You know what? Nobody thought XRP could rip the $3 in a month. I promise you that. If you were sitting down here at XRP at 48 cents and you came up to me and said, I'm waiting the next 30 days when we 6X. Yeah, that's what I'm going to cash out. I'm feeling pretty good about my XRP. When this asset hadn't had a major move since 2022, right? When we had that shot up to, about $1.75. Crazy, right? I am bullish for XRP, don't get me wrong, but we're currently sitting beneath the high volume node, a sign of weakness here, and this isn't just XRP, this is altcoins across the board. We need Bitcoin dominance to start to give and Bitcoin to sink its heels in here in order for these altcoins to continue their run. That is my opinion. This gap in the VRVP looks really good to me. Now this long, a blue skies breakout for XRP, sign me up, baby. That sounds good. Sign me up. A long for XRP on a blue skies breakout. I'll ride that puppy all the way up to that $4.15 price target with a 2.16 to 1 risk reward ratio trade. Woo! That hypes me up. That hypes me up, baby. Now, on the way down here, if we did get that break to the downside, you still have the daily 200 MA. Look how much higher this asset is above the daily 200 MA than Bitcoin. Strength, XRP, one of the strongest altcoins in the game. That's what I'm looking at for XRP. Those are my trade ideas for XRP, and that's how I'm looking at it in going into the future. Now, warnings on XRP. Warnings on XRP, baby. I will say this. Some assets, more so than others, are forming some of the biggest bear divs that you'll ever see on, on the daily time frames. This has been crazy. Look at this bear div that formed right here for XRP. Let's get this out of here. You gotta be pulling your bear div, and this isn't like, oh, we're going down. Don't think that Boys Crypto said we're going down. Look at this bear div that formed for XRP, saying that you're going to break this low before this high. Did we do that? Yes. Yes, we did. Look at that wick, baby. We took out and we negated that bear div. Now, on the way up, you don't want to see bear div like that form again. There was bear div forming on all sorts of assets. And no one was going to call this capitulation wick when that was absolutely crazy. That was the biggest liquidation wick in crypto history. But that bear div did play out on the daily, on your higher time frames. Start pulling your bear div and let's see. It is incredibly hard here for XRP, right? But this bear div did play out even on the weekly. You could have seen it, that bear div for XRP, and it would have been a beautiful opportunity to grab a little more on the cheap. It really would have been, right? And for the people who sold out here who didn't realize that bear div got negated, held up by the 21 weekly, oh man, I feel for those people. I really do. The people who got in on these bounces made in a single day without leverage 44% on their position. With leverage, you could have made a 4 to 5x. That would have been crazy, right? When you're looking at these massive capitulation events, to either way, we get a blue skies breakout for XRP and we get a moonshot candle that looks like this, right? You're looking for shorts. If you get a nukage candle going to the downside, you're looking for signs of strength that bounce, right? You're looking for a cup and handle bounce out of there back to the upside because nothing's just going to fall straight. The XRP chart isn't going to look like this, right? Highly unlikely, even though highly unlikely. Not saying that's not going to happen, but boom, baby, to the upside. And when we're looking for that, we will look for reactions to the downside. These moves from the highs, right, of 50% to the downside, regardless of price, right, look really, really juicy for shorts. Now, if we do start getting retracements here, I'm not taking this off the table. One of these areas that I'll be looking for XRP on the way to the downside, baby, is this swing low to swing high 618, 786 retrace, right? We almost got the 618 right there. The 786 sits down here at about $1.15. I think that'd be a great area to scoop up some XRP. Not saying it's going to happen, but in the event that we did get there, I would like to scoop up some cheap XRP. That's what I'm looking at. Okay, here we go. Wanda, we're looking at hype, absolutely hyper liquid, getting absolutely decimated, right? From yesterday, we did close our trade for profit up on hyper liquid yesterday. Hyper liquid probably down with the rest of the altcoins today. Everything took a beating today, ladies and gentlemen. Why? Because we didn't get what we expected. We got what we expected. The public didn't get what they expected. Not here on the Boys Crypto channel, baby. On the Boys Crypto channel, we said we have no idea. We have no idea. We are left in the dark. It's like when your lady asks, hey, where should we go eat tonight? You have no idea. If she has no idea and you start suggesting things, right? You don't know where you're going to go. And then she's going to say, no. And you have no idea where we're going to eat either. You both have no idea where you're going to eat, right? And eventually she caves, tells you where you want to go eat. You take her to the 7-Eleven, get a juicy pizza, right? Full of grease and disgustingness. Bring it back to your house. Eat it on the couch while you're watching a movie, while you're watching that Harry Potter and you're playing magic tricks with your wand, your magic Harry Potter wand that you bought at Orlando, and you're using it to turn on and off the lights to create a romantic atmosphere for your lady. You have no idea, right? That was a wild tangent. Where are we? What are we doing? Okay, hyperliquid to the downside, baby. We had no idea where hyperliquid was going to go here out of this flag, but we did get that break to the downside, right? Got that break to the downside, and you haven't stopped here for hyperliquid. We had no idea. That's where I was going. We had no idea what was going to happen at the crypto summit. We were speculating, baby, but the United States government currently is not, I will repeat this, is not, as everyone expected them to, purchasing Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, Cardano, or Solana. Those are the facts. That's what we got out of today. They said, we will hold what we have, but we are not buying anymore. They don't have a clear path to buying anymore. They got nothing. They got squat diddly do. And that's horrible. That's horrible, right? That's not what we wanted to see from a crypto community perspective, right? And in addition to Jerome Powell not giving us any hints on quantitative easing, it's not a good environment here. It's not a good environment here with the tariffs and everything. This is not the environment where crypto is going to thrive. We need something to change, everybody, from a macroeconomic perspective in order to get these assets moving again. Okay, Hyperliquid, I am bullish on the project. I like the project. It's in the dumps. It's in the mega dumps right now. So the only thing that you can do is go out on the daily. You are not forming any major div. You are in the oversold region. Okay, your stochastics are curving. That's okay. But Hyperliquid is kind of in the dumps right now. We've been over Hyperliquid a couple times here on the channel, and it's just not looking good, everybody. You got to start playing 200 MA dominoes. You're not even above the 5 right now. Are you above the 1? You're not above the 1. You're not above the 1. You're not above the 3. You're not above the 5. You're not above the 7. You're not above the 15. You're not above the 1, the 2, the 3, the 5, the 10, the 9. You're not above any 200 MA. So in order to speculate on getting in long here, you would first have to crack the 1 minute 200 MA. If you don't do that, you can't speculate on playing 200 MA dominoes, right? Until you break the 1 minute 200 MA, you got to be on the sidelines. Not financial advice. You got to be on the sidelines. If you want to catch that perfect bounce at the bottom, you could try, but man, this asset has been beaten down, and it's a shame to see such a good project too, such a good team. It's pretty crazy. Now on the 8 hour, I think I was looking at this. We do a massive bullish div on the 8 hour. We cannot ignore this, friends. We cannot ignore this. Look at this swing down in price, baby. Swing down in price for Hyperliquid as we have a swing up on the 8 hour RSI. That looks like bullish divergence to me, and that says that we are likely to break this high here at 2149 before we break this low at 14,657. But baby, this has been struggling. This asset has been struggling. We formed bull div here. We formed that 8 hour bull div here. Look at this. We formed this 8 hour bull div here. We got a reaction, but the bull div did not work out as it said we would have broken this high before we broken this low. And look at that. We broke the low first. Bull div doesn't always work out. It just hints at us in the, it just gives us an idea of like, hey, maybe this may be the end. It doesn't look like it's the end for Hyperliquid. Now, you are forming this channel here. You're forming this channel. In my opinion, it did break, right? It was a broken pattern here, like a lot of the other coins had, and you're forming this falling wedge here on the 8 hour time frame. I would keep this on your radar. You are forming, you still have bull div here. You have bull div massive on the 8 hour. This bull div is absolutely massive, saying that we're likely to get a break for hyper liquid here in the near term. But I'm telling you, we're in almost a blue skies breakout to the downside for hyper liquid from where it came out back here on the perpetuals at about $12. Like, these assets, despite where they came out, can fall down in these $2, $4, $5 ranges, which would be a beautiful area to pick up some hyper liquid. But woo, this has been an asset that has been colossally beaten down. It has been beaten down really bad, beaten harder than when I put the pot in the pan drawer the other day when I was in the kitchen and my lady caught me. Whoo, that was painful. Got some bruises on my back. You guys should see it. Woo. All right, let's dive in. Let's dive into the chat. Welcome everyone. Welcome everybody that's just jumping on in here. Sin Nasty Kid Squirrel. Where's the squirrel, brother? Where's the squirrel? I don't know what you're talking about. All right, enlightened viewers about Solana. Hey, brother, Solana. We'll talk about Solana. Hey, let's talk about Solana. Woo! I don't know if you're talking about the charts or you're talking about my own speculative opinions. Solana, one of the coins speculated to get added to the United States Strategic Reserve. Crazy how it did not happen. We were looking at this. This was in my video yesterday. Feel free to check out my video, my analysis on Solana, baby. Analysis on Solana, but we're going to break it down for you guys. Let's get some energy going. It is lacking a little bit in here. Shout out to everybody who has their gold monster rehabs, everybody. This channel is going to solely keep this brand in business. This monster is the best monster of all flavors. There is no question. There is no doubt in my mind. I can never find them. Why? They're always sold out. All right, let's dive into Solana. I'll talk about Solana real quick for you, brother, on the macro. Solana, does anybody in this chat trust Solana after the Trump meme coin scam? You're trying to get me on my meme coin rant, man. There are accusations that Solana has been nothing but a meme coin pump and dump, and I agree with those. There has been absolute zero regulation on Trump coin, Melania coin, and Libra coin, all of which have been promoted by political figures. Melania is not a political figure, but she's in the eyes of the American public as one, right? So all those coins have been rug pulls. I don't care what you say about Trump coin, guys. I love you guys. I respect your opinion about Trump coin, but on this boy's crypto channel, I view Trump coin as a rug pull, baby. He rugged it. It's down at the bear market. It's at the lows. It's at the lows, and it doesn't show any time of resurgence. And the only time it pumps is when Trump opens his mouth. Imagine at the end of his presidency, because he won't have another one, right? Unless we get that thing. Remember, when he was campaigning, he was like, 12 more years. And someone in the crowd was like, 12 more years, Mr. Trump. And then the crowd was like, 12 more years, 12 more years, 12 more. Yeah, and they just started chanting. Yeah, unless that were to happen, highly unlikely, right, against the Constitution. But when Trump gets out of office, do we think the meme coin is gonna continue to rip to the upside when we don't have Trump constantly talking? Unlikely, in my opinion. It'd be a short-term hold if you want to hold it and try and catch a squeeze to the upside, but I don't ever see Trump coin returning to its highs. I don't. He owns 80% of the supply. The Melania coin, the same wallet that made Melania coin, made the Libra coin. The scandal in Argentina with the Argentina president who's getting tried for fraud, right? After promoting his coin, which he said he didn't, but he promoted his coin on Twitter, on X, and then deleted the tweets. So Solana has just let those things ride, right? And has stolen hundreds and hundreds of millions from the American public and the world public. It has been a disgrace. And you know what? The markets are telling Solana so. They're telling Solana so. As Bitcoin's at $100,000, Solana struggling to maintain its footing that it's had back here in February 28. Is this the end of Solana? This has been one of the more volatile assets, right? You could argue, hey, we're just forming a bigger cup and handle. Very possible, very possible. But where would that take us for Solana if this was forming a bigger cup and handle here? Well, you'd have to pull your fib. You'd have to pull it from the swing low too. The swing low, if we were to break this support line, look at this uptrend. This is crazy. This would be as if XRP broke that support line that we were talking about and it started coming down here in the abyss. This is the XRP 50 cent level, Solana 20 cents or $20, right? You would have to look at a bounce at the 786, which is currently sitting at $76. Another 50% drop on the line for Solana. That's what I'm looking at for Solana, baby. I'm not in the asset. I can't be. I've seen the damage it's done to people, right? Everybody on Solana trying to catch the next meme pump and dump. I'm tired of it. And Solana lost my trust as a chain. Now, I like Jupiter, right? I love Jupiter swapping things. If you're going to swap on anything, swap on Jupiter. I like Jupiter. I think it's great as an exchange, but beaten down with Solana as well, getting kicked in the absolute gonads, getting bent over the barrel and shown the 50 states, baby. Shout out to Horrible Bosses, one of the greatest movies ever created, an American classic, in my opinion. At least that's what I'm going to tell my kids. Horrible Bosses, an American classic. So you're in this falling wedge right now, and Solana needs, the charts are saying, needs a breakout here. If you don't get a bounce off this high volume node, which you are currently sitting underneath, weakness for Solana, and you don't get out of this support zone here, you don't bounce on this support zone, going all the way down to $120, flip this upside down, ladies and gentlemen. Flip this upside down. These can break out parabolically to the upside. Doesn't happen often, but look where the high volume node is, at $18. Right? If we were looking at this on the 1 minute chart, it'd be like, oh baby, this is juicy. We just got above the 1 minute 200 SMA. We got the retest and we're pushing up higher in this wedge pattern that could break to the upside parabolically. Woo, let's open up some high leverage longs, baby. That's kind of the idea that you're looking at with Solana here. But inverted, right? This is what we're actually looking at, the true chart to the downside. It does not look good for Solana. It doesn't look good for Solana. I'm not gonna lie. And it's inflationary. There's more Solana made every single day. It has a little infinity symbol on CoinMarketCap when it talks about supply. Why? Because it is inflationary. It's not limited in supply. That's my own little rant on Solana, guys. That's my own little rant on Solana. All right, let's dive in. That's Solana in a nutshell for me, baby. That's what I'm looking at for Solana. And I'm not a bear. I'm not a bear on every single crypto, guys. I'm not a bear on every single crypto, but it'd be naive to think that this could not be the beginning of a greater pullback, right? If Bitcoin slips to 70K, I'm still a bull. I'm still a macro bull. I love that 786 retracement. I think it could happen. Why? Well, Bitcoin here, baby. Bitcoin has done this before. We did this during the, we did this right here. Whenever we had this giant drop off, right? Let's pull the fib here and see where this landed us here. From the swing low to the swing high. Where did we come? We came down to the 706, the golden pocket, right? We came down to the golden pocket and bounced. And we continued our rip to the upside for Bitcoin when no one was expecting it. When everybody was caught with their pants down with that shoulder. Oh, it's a shoulder, head right shoulder. It's going to the downside. And the whales ate, baby. The whales ate. It was crazy. That order block right here for the whales, every whale that got in here was feasting and have feasted for 100% gains on their favorite on this asset. You know, you're at 49K and you got into some limit orders and you doubled your money. You doubled your money on what would be, hundreds of millions of dollars in Bitcoin, right? That were scooped up by those whales where they got it out. They spooked the public. They did. I don't think the public spooked. I don't. Yes, we're in fear, but I think there's enough room for a leg down, right? If you're looking at the charts from a macro, right, and you're pulling from your last initial swing reaction, you could say that, hey, we're pulling from here and we bounced right off the 706 golden pocket area. Yeah, we did. But I like it better like this. Like the last time, where'd the last low come in from, that initial reaction from the swing low to the swing high? Let's go from the swing low of the prior range and come on up here and test the swing high. Baby, this looks like a tell me this does not look, we have to speculate on a higher low because market structure hasn't been broken yet on the macro. So look at where these areas come in at the 786 all the way down here to 62,000 from the swing low here. I think you could pull it from any of these initial impulses. That is also possible, right? But if you're going to go from the macro until we break this 786 at $60,000, that would be this area, the 618 to 786, the 618, the $72,000 level, that around the area where we have our limit longs. This is where I'm speculating on a bounce, that first bounce, right? If we crack this 200 MA, we just have to be prepared for it, everybody. We have to be prepared for it if it comes. I'm not saying it's going to, but I have limit orders in here just in case. And I am long right now, baby. I'm in a long right now. It's a little underwater. Hey, it is what it is. But we're speculating on that higher low on the 4 hour, right? We're down a little bit. Hey, it is what it is. But we're looking to rip this to the upside and go up and get this around $89,000. Take profit, baby. Take profit. That's what we're looking for this liquidity sweep and the higher low on the 4 hour, forming out this triangle, this symmetrical triangle on the 4 hour, baby. Look at that green candle rearing its head saying, boys crypto, we're about the moon, baby. We're about the moon. Boys crypto, you caught the bottom of the symmetrical triangle, baby, and we're about to ride this juicy puppy to the upside. Look at that bounce, baby. That's what I'm looking for. Look at that bounce. It's like the yoga pants with your lady. The bounce is, yes. That's what you're looking for. That bounce to the upside, baby. That bounce to the upside. The higher low created on the 4-hour time frame. Even if you're looking at these wicks, zooming in, higher low. You're still in the trend line. We had to wait for that 4-hour candle close. We did get that close inside the trend line. Does that not look beautiful to you for a swing to the upside? And even if we're bearish, we'll reject here. I'll be taking profits well before I'm taking profits around 89,000 here. That looks good to me. Hey, and if you want to pull your fibs right from the high to low, if you're speculating on a lower high coming in, hey, baby, that comes in around the 618. Looks good to me. This trade looks good to Boys Crypto. That's what I'm looking at here in the near term on the 4-hour for Bitcoin, baby, for Bitcoin. Back to Solana. That's what I'm looking at for Solana. Oh, you don't want to see this break. You see the support level break. You got to start assuming that you're going to come down to more high volume areas. You have the weekly 200 SMA. You have the high volume node here. 59 and 22. It's just not an asset I'm personally invested in. I hope for all of you that are invested in Solana, I hope that you guys have taken profit. If you guys have been in for your, at least take out, I highly recommend XRP, Solana, HBAR, any of these things that have ran 6x, take out your initial investment. You lose 10%, 12% of what you've accumulated. But you keep all risk off the table. That's just not financial advice, but that's what I would do, man. Anything that multiplies by 6x, you have to take your initial risk off the table. What's better than risk-free, right? That's why everybody loves free trials. Risk-free. You sign up for risk-free trials. It's a big, juicy win, right? Until you forget to pay that subscription payment. And then your lady's asking you why we have $200 in charges from YouTube TV. That's not a position you want to be in. You want it to be risk-free. You want to cancel that subscription. Take that money out, baby. Take that money out and say, hey, I have a risk-free investment in XRP and Solana or anything. If I got in at $20, when there's a risk, when there's a 1% risk that it could come back down to that $20, $25 level, and you could potentially have ridden it all the way up. Imagine the feeling riding Solana all the way up from $20 to up to about $300 and riding it all the way back down. Devastating. Take out your initial investment. I'm begging you guys. That is something that I am very keen on. Look at Solana getting a little bit of a pump here above the 200 MA, the 21 curving looking really good here. Let's see if we get a squeeze to the upside for Solana. Look at that, baby. That's looking good. Let's flip this upside down. Does that not look shoulder, head, right, shoulder? Shoulder, head, right, shoulder, head, right, shoulder, breaking to the downside, right? Right here. We'll flip it back up, invert it. Everybody on this channel knows that I hate looking for shorts, and I never do. Why do I do that? Because I just hate looking for shorts. Just personal preference. To the upside for Solana, gapping up in this VRVP, likely to come up here to this 142 level. That would be a high leverage play, everybody. That would be a high leverage play if you guys were in this trade. But higher low, breaking the higher highs. Looks really good for Solana in the near term, pumping up that 5-minute 200 MA. About to play 200 MA dominoes. You know where we're going first. The 3-minute. Oh yeah, baby. That's what we're looking at. All right, diving on into the chat. Drop your questions. Drop your altcoins. Drop your hays. Drop your what's going on, Boys Cryptos. Drop your hey, Boys Crypto. I like that shirt. That shirt is really shiny. It looks good. The purple brings out your eyes. Drop whatever you like in the chat. We're going to go over everything. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Wanda Zummel. Hey, I'm your favorite squirrel, Sin Nasty Kid. I appreciate you, brother. I don't know what you're talking about with squirreliness, right? It's the monsters, baby. It's the monsters. I really do believe they put some kind of Schedule 1 substance in there. Wanda, let's dive in. What's my favorite crypto? My favorite crypto is Bitcoin. I know it's basic and generic. My favorite crypto is Bitcoin. I believe Bitcoin's going to be here in 100 years. I don't know if all these other cryptos will be, but Bitcoin will be. I think Bitcoin is the most scarce asset. We won't have all of us will be long dead by the time all the Bitcoin's mined and we get those supply shocks over and over again. When these big companies, governments and everything start getting in, I think Bitcoin is going to be the new asset of the century. It already is the asset of the century. It is the best performing crypto ever to exist, and that's what I'm looking at. Bitcoin is my favorite. My favorite crypto, Wanda. All right, Toshi coin up 14% right now. Toshi, Josh Parks, what's going on, man? How you doing? Let's look at Barrett Chain for Wanda. Absolutely. Toshi for Josh Parks. Is this on? Is it on Dex Screener, man? It might be. Toshi, baby, Toshi. We got it on TradingView here. Let's dive on in. If you guys are interested in TradingView, if you guys don't have, oh baby, lizard looking juicy. Toshi, is this a meme? Yeah, it's got to be a meme. Getting that bullish engulfing candle on the 4-hour time frame. Looking good, man. Looking good. Look at this flag forming out on the 1 hour time frame. This looks really, or on the 1 minute time frame. So this would be an example of something that you could trade on higher leverage, right? Because you're looking at that one minute, right? You got a clear support and you got a resistance line here. You're forming a wedge right now. You want to see this flag form out. Wait for some consolidation, man. Wait for some consolidation. What do I see here? I do see a big gap in the VRVP. A lot of Toshi wasn't traded down in this region. Why do we have that gap in the VRVP? I'm glad we asked, random citizen. I'm glad we asked, Josh. We have this gap because look, baby, we've had the markets close. There's not a lot of people trading Toshi right now, but that does leave potential for Toshi to squeeze further to the upside. Let's see here on the 1 hour. You are battling the 1 hour 200 SMA, baby. You're battling the 1 hour 200 SMA. You got above the 15, you got above the 30. You came up to the 1 hour. The 1 hour rejected you. So now you're sitting in between the 30 and the 1 hour, and you got a high volume node sitting in between the two on the 1 minute. That's what you're looking at for Toshi. Let's see on the 5 minute time frame how we're looking. We getting any major you did have some pretty major bear div forming right here, right? As you did have that swing up, right? Swing up in price here. Well, you did have a swing down on the RSI. It is what it is, right? It is what it is. Bear div, did that play out saying that you're going to break this low before you break this high? It definitely did. You had that breakdown to the downside. Now you're forming support. It looks good, man. It looks good. And this could be a potential scalp to the upside. I'm not going to touch it. I'm not a big meme coin guy. It is what it is. But you do have this gap in the VRVP. This support line doesn't hold. It's like you come back right from whence you came. And then you can start speculating on things like 786, some kind of half cup and handle kind of deal. Boom, boom, boom. And you'd be looking at a reversal here right about the 1 minute 200 MA, or the 5 minute, the 5 minute 200 MA, about the 786, which would be about 3980, man. That's what I'd be looking at. You could either speculate on a long narrow, this flag forming out, or I would wait on some kind of retracement here out of like the half cup handle and look for a gap up again through this high volume node, which will likely be there in the event that you fell down. This is like a big area of support, big area of resistance right here above you, man. So you're kind of sitting in no man's land. I know that's kind of weird to say on the 5 minute time frame, but no man's land with the lack of liquidity we have in the market right now. I don't know anything about this project, but hey, man, you could be looking at a bottom. You got a daily bullish engulfing candle. I would wait for that to close, right? You close the daily bullish engulfing candle, and sometimes when you get those green candles after you add a lot in a row, you can start getting some squeezes to the upside. And some of these candles seem small, but these are no small candles. That's a 13% candle to the upside. The day after you did have a green candle, this look good. Bullish engulfing, right? Toshi has the ability to squeeze, baby. Look at these gaps in the VRVP. You got a gap all the way up here. Let's close this out here on the daily. You do have a gap. You're back pretty much where you started, man. So you had almost a 100% retrace from where you got released on trading view here. You do have a gap up to about that 50 level right here. That represents a pretty solid 20% gain, man, from where you're standing. You know, about 20% up to where you're at. But you're at your lows. You're at your lows, man. You got your daily 200. You got your daily stochastics curving to the upside, looking for strength here for Toshi. Getting a pretty big bounce here, man. That's awesome. That's awesome to see. But just be cautious, man. Just be cautious. This is the weekend, low volatility. And what happens after the weekends, everybody? What happens after the weekends? Bitcoin, Ethereum, assets all across the world love to retrace to where they were on Friday's close. So let's look at Bitcoin here. Let's look at Bitcoin. Where did we close today, everybody? Where did we close today? Let's look at the 4 hour. So we closed the daily candle here. Daily candle, new day, right? New day. We closed the daily candle here at about 86,731. So regardless of what happens during this weekend, say we get a draw, say we have a capitulation event or something like that. On Monday, it is very likely that we at least touch where we close. The markets love to revisit where they close on Friday. That's where the institutions say this is fair value. So it's likely we come back up and test that area, right, at $86,656, where Bitcoin did close here on the perpetuals on Monday, right, whenever the markets reopen. That is very, very likely. It happens a lot of times in crypto. It happens almost 99% of the time. What does that form? It forms what's called a CME gap. A CME gap is formed whenever price deviates from Friday's close to Monday's open. That gap in price often gets filled on either the opening bell or the first half of the Monday session, right, when New York opens. Very, very important to know, right? Very important to know. And you could argue, hey, the Asia can do it, right? That closes at 8 p.m. or whatever, or 6 p.m. my team, 7 p.m. New York, I believe. And then Yeah, so whenever Asia opens, that's another new daily candle. That daily candle can fill it. So that's what we're looking for Sunday night. It doesn't matter where price is. I don't care if price is up here at 98K. We could be looking for a retrace down there. Those CME gaps love to get filled. Love to get filled. Gaps that have been filled right here. Where was Saturday and Sunday here? Yeah, areas of low liquidity. Yeah, Saturday and Sunday. That area did get filled by that wick back here, right? And nobody saw that coming, but man, we did get that filled by that wick. That's kind of crazy. That's kind of crazy how CME gaps work. It doesn't happen all the time, and nothing's guaranteed. Just an idea to keep on your radar. Okay, everybody, let's dive on into the chat. Loca on Coinbase. Yeah, VeChain, man, how about, hey, let's go into the top. From Sin Nasty's squirrel comment, man. Squirrel comment. I don't know where you saw a squirrel in the chat, but we are going to dive in. We're going to dive in. All right, we got bearishness, VeChain. Let's dive into VeChain. I'd be happy to look at VeChain for you. Hey, thanks for jumping on into the chat. Shout out to you, brother. Shout out to Reviews Indonesia. Not even in the United States here. He is over in, I believe, Indonesia. I forget where you said where you're from, man. You were across the ocean. You were across the great Atlantic, right? So thanks for setting your alarm and being here with us, man. We greatly appreciate you and your ideas in the chat. Shout out to you. All right, let's dive into VeChain. VeChain, baby. VeChain on the perpetuals. Let's dive in on Bybit. All right, we had this idea for VeChain the other day. We had a macro cup and handle on the daily that we've been looking at and we've been tracking here on the channel, currently being supported by this high volume node here at about 2582, right? I'm just going to say 2582. I know there's decimal places, but I'm not going to say 0.02582. I'm just going to say 2582, right? 2582. That's looking to support right now as a high volume node. You're sitting in between a high volume node between here, and I'll zoom in here in a second. You got here and here. Between 26 and 32, that looks really good. You're in this falling wedge coming out of the cup and handle, baby. Looking really good for VeChain on the macro going to the upside. That looks really good to me. Again, you are below the daily 21. You had a death cross on the daily. Let's clean up some of this so it looks a little cleaner. You did have a death cross here on the daily. You had the 21 crossing the 200, and you haven't really been able to get back above that 21. You need to crack this 21, get up and convert this. Here's what you need. You start playing 200 MA dominoes. You need to break this 21 and come up and test this 200 here on the daily for VeChain, right? You need to test this 200. You test this 200 and you get a close. It is very, very likely you gap up to this next high volume node here, sitting at about 45.38. That represents a massive, colossal, big, probably a 62% move for VeChain from where you're at, and that matches up very, very nicely with the cup and handle. VeChain had one of the rocket shots back before the election. Where was this? After the election, December 4th was the all-time high. December 3rd. Yeah, out of the cup and handle here, the half cup and handle, baby, shooting for the upside. This slope is insane. Once you get a breakout from VeChain, the charts are saying this could go parabolic, and it could go parabolic fast, a lot faster than a lot of the other assets can, because a lot of other assets didn't have a parabolic run-up like that. It just didn't, and the chart not looking bad for VeChain. This is what I'm seeing for VeChain. You have your falling wedge right out of the cup and handle. Looks so beautiful to me, on the larger time frames, right? Always zoom out to your larger time frames. You most likely did come down to an 886. You may even be sitting a little below it. Did you come down? Yeah, you came down to the 886 level. It looks really good for a bounce to the upside. If you did speculate on a long here, VeChain, heavy risk to reward, 208% to the upside, right? A long idea, right? Long idea for VeChain. If I was here and I was speculating on a long on VeChain, I'm going to wait a little bit to see if Bitcoin could hold its ground here. Our long, trading in the money now, baby. In the money. We're up. We're going. We are mooning, everybody. We're going to crack that high, and we're going to get our roll into the upside. We're going to get this roll into the upside. VeChain here on the daily, consolidating in this range for about the past 5 days, looking to break out of this cup and handle, falling wedge to the upside. This long idea would be massive risk reward. It'd be massive risk reward. You say VeChain is bottom, and VeChain could have bottomed right here. If you speculate on this wedge being over and alt season starting, which is likely, look at this risk reward here. Look at this risk reward. You have almost a 20-to-1 risk reward ratio for VeChain, baby. Looking to make the reversal to the upside. Now, key areas where I would start either A, trailing stop losses, or B, taking profits. Look at this high volume node. You are going to run, you're going to face plant in that concrete wall, and you need to break through it. It's like on Mario Kart when you go through one of those breakable walls. You need to break through it. If you just run into one of those big things in Bowser Castle that just falls in your way and you face plant into it, you're going to stop dead in your tracks and likely go the other way when you're hit with everything that people throw at you while they're driving by you and putting you back in 12th place on Mario Kart. My overall record for races in Mario Kart, I am not very good at that, just like I'm not very good at driving in the rain. Corolla vehicles. The Corolla is not a good car to drive in the rain. You guys ever drive without any tread on your tires? It's a super fun time. Great way to drift. Great way to drift. Okay. We're looking for this massive 20-to-1 risk-reward ratio for VeChain here. You have to have a stop below that wick. You can put it a little deeper if you want to prevent from, to kind of give yourself that chance of the double bottom. VeChain looks beautiful to me here. It really does. You have a couple levels of concern. You need to get the 21, the 200, this high volume node, right? You're likely to gap up to the next high volume node, which is sitting up here at about 67 cents. Right, 67 cents or 6.7 cents, and then you could go for the highs. You can. This could be the area, as we talked about on this channel, that altcoin season begins. This represents those areas where you could get massive risk-reward ratios on these investments here. VeChain looking hot, baby, looking hot. It makes me want to do it. It makes me want to open up a VeChain long, baby. Should I do it? Should I open up the long? Should I put my money where my mouth is? Yeah! I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. Why? Because I love you guys. We got a high volume node here supporting us. Yeah, gap up. And I'll keep you guys, I'll keep this trade open. I will keep you guys posted on how it goes, right? I will leave this trade open. I will either get stopped out, right? Saying that this is the bottom. I will either get stopped, baby. We're putting our money where our mouth is. We are either going to get stopped or we're going to ride this puppy for a massive win. How about this? Let's go. VeChain, baby. For the bull market, VeChain. Let's go. Bull. Oh, come on, Blowfin. You guys don't have an exchange? Feel free to use Blowfin. My link is in the description. We got VeChain here. Pulled up, baby. Looking good to Boys Crypto. Okay. Let's see. VeChain. Right asset. 27 cents. 27 cents. Or, 2.7 cents. VeChain. All right. We're going to put our stop. This is not financial advice. I am just showing you guys what I am doing because I love you guys, and this is a channel for entertainment, right? So it is entertaining to either see Boys Crypto make lots of money or entertaining to see Boys Crypto absolutely get kaplooped, right? So VeChain, again, Bitcoin needs this bounce here. Look at that beautiful candle, baby. Ever since you've been on the live, you've been pumping, baby. Pumping. Maybe I just need to be live all the time so the Bitcoin price goes up like this. So it's a nice green candle, and it'll look like this. You guys want to see that? Boys Crypto goes live, and we just see a giant, massive green dildo to the upside. Shout out to all my guys out there that like the green dildos here. We got our giant green dildo to the upside here for VeChain, and we could even get some moonshots. Hopefully, we could look it on the USD chart, and we can see some massive, massive gaps as we trade over the weekend, right? As we shoot up there, that would look amazing for Bitcoin. That is exactly what we're looking for. All right, back to brass tacks here. VeChain, baby, VeChain. What are we looking at? Okay, we're going to enter our long. I'm going to enter my long now. Here's why, right? I like this bottom area for VeChain. Yes, there may be a better entry, but I'm going to be trading this on the daily, and I don't want to have to think about this over the course of the weekend. This is weekend trading, everybody. High risk on the weekends, but I'm going to take advantage of this area of low liquidity that may allow us to gap up here to this next high volume node, and I would feel very, very good about my entry. Okay, so my stop is going to be 0.2424. That's what I'm looking at for my stop. 0.02424. And we're going to put our take profit here all the way up at the highs, baby. Let's go for this big come and handle breakout. The charts are saying this is likely. I will take profit along the way. Don't get me wrong. So we're going to take profit at 9 cents. 9 cents, baby. 9 cents. 0.09. And you know what? We're going to use... No. That's too much. Let's do on a 6x here. Live trading, baby. Live trading coming from you for the Boys Crypto family. All right. Let's dive in. You know what? How does a $100 risk for a $1,700 gain sound to you guys? Sounds pretty good to me. Let's limit in. And we are long, baby, on VeChain. Don't look at my short. Oh! Don't look at my shorts, guys. Good night. I mean my business pants. I mean my casual business pants. Don't look at that. We are long on VeChain, baby. Let's see how this goes. We're going to play this on the daily to the upside for VeChain. We're going to lead this here. Thank you for putting that on our radar, baby. For putting it on our radar. Shout out to you guys. I hope you guys didn't see my underwear. They were red. They were a little red. I don't know if you guys saw that red. I'm not going to tell you the color of my underwear. Sit nasty, kid. Sit down, brother. Sit down. Don't be looking at my underwear, brother. The wife would not like that. Okay. Dogecoin up to 14%. Yep. Loca, Coinbase. Let's dive in. Loca, baby. Let's dive dive into Loca Mocha. You guys ever have a Loca Mocha? I think that was my first ever adult beverage. The Loca Mocha. The Loca Mocha, when Boys Crypto was back in his, and he was 21 years old, right? When Loca Mocha was a thing, I went down to the gas station and got myself a Loca Mocha with my wonderful brother, right? Loca Mocha, baby. Loca Mocha. Shout out to the Loca Mocha fans. I don't drink anymore, right? It is bad for my health. I do not drink. I don't like Loca Mocha. It didn't even taste good. It was just the first time that I really had alcohol. Yes, Boys Crypto did wait. He was a weenie when it came to alcohol. I was like, I didn't want to drink and drive. I didn't want to drink at all. Like, it is what it is. And then he succumbed to peer pressure, and I was like, I want to try a delicious adult beverage. And I thought Loca Mocha would be really cool. And lo and behold, it tasted awful, and I haven't had much alcohol since. And ever since then, the things that have gotten me turnt have been the charts, baby. Shout out to everybody who knows what that word is. I just learned it the other day. Turnt. That's what the kids are saying nowadays. Okay, Loca Mocha, baby. Loca on the United States chart. Let's dive in. Oh my gosh, the most beautiful lady in the world just walked in. What is going on, my lady? Thank you for the water. Is my UVO sounding dry? No? All right. She didn't want to talk. She sings too, everybody. She sings too. She sang on this channel. You guys would think it was a music channel, I promise. Maybe I'll get her to do my music for my trailer for the channel. Maybe she'll sing for us if we're lucky. Okay, here we go. Going to the upside, everybody. Going to the upside for Loca. Looking really good in this wedge here. In this wedge, we do have a nice daily bullish divergence here, swinging to the upside as the price action has been swinging down. That does look swinging across. Very slight, right? You're swinging up on the price action. We're having a steeper swing up on the RSI. That does look good to me. Okay, so we're looking for this curve around for Loca here in the near term. This is the daily. If we're looking at we're zooming in here a little harder on the perpetuals here. Let's look at the 5. So you got to start playing 200 MA dominoes. I like when the 200 MA is curving to the upside. We got to like when the 200 MA is curving to the upside because that just shows bullish momentum. Okay, that's on the 5. Let's go to the 15. You are above the 15. You have a golden cross pending here on the 15. Looking good for Loca here. I like what I'm seeing. Baby. Now, you are a little cooked on the stochastics. What does cooked on the stochastics mean? It means you're in the overbought region. You're coming back into fair value. So you're getting a little cooked on the stochastics. You may be in for a little bit of chop sideways action here, right? A little bit of chop city while you're waiting on the 21. Shout out to the Crypto Lifer. The Crypto Lifer teaching us this Lifer vision, baby, where the 21 comes up in the price action out of a flag and boom. So you're looking for this chop here in this flag consolidation while these stochastics reset, going to the upside. 21 taking you to the moon, baby, and you can start cracking these highs. And oh, baby, does that not make you guys excited, right? Does that not make you excited? Through the gap in the VRVP to your next high volume node, all the way up here at about 1245. That is a substantial move, despite like, hey, it's not even a penny. Well, yeah, it is. It's about 3.6%, 3.3% move. That would get you started, right? Looking here on the 1 hour, that 1 hour 200 MA is going to be what you need to crack, baby. You're going to need to crack this 1 hour 200 MA. It is looking good. It's looking good, baby. You got this shoulder. Oh, trading view. Come on, baby. You got this shoulder, you got the head, right, with that candle there, and you have your right shoulder forming. That does look good to me, right? It's kind of a little ugly, but you got that shoulder, head, right shoulder sitting above the highest volume node right here. You're sitting above a high volume node. You got to get above that other high volume node, and you got this nice thigh gap right here. That field goal post that you could kick a truck through, right? The lady stands upside down on her head. She has that thigh gap, right? She's super skinny, and then they got that thigh gap, and it looks like, hey, I could punt a field goal through there. I could punt a truck through there if I wanted to. That's what we're looking here at, this thigh gap right here, at this gap in the VRVP all the way up here to 1262. That looks really good. Zooming out to the 4 hour. Yeah, you're at the lows. If this asset is to turn around, you're starting to make that nice bottom here. A lot of coins are looking like, oh, come on, man. A lot of coins are looking like this, right? You need to have some kind of, you need to get some kind of rounded bottom, break this the 4 hour 200 MA is so key, everybody. Look at that high volume node just sitting below on the 4 hour. You need to get above this for Loca, baby. You need to get above this for Loca and come up and test this one here at about 13 cents. You need to. You crack that and look at this. You have a moonshot to the upside. Let's zoom out and update this VRVP. You have a moonshot to the upside. Look at these potential gains here. That's why I'm speculating on longs, baby. I have to. The risk reward is so great right now for these altcoins. Everybody's scared of them, but I'll tell you what, there's going to be a bottom, baby. There will be. Is it coming? It could be. And look at that 68% rocket ship to the upside, baby. Rocket ship. Definitely said ship to the upside. Look at that. It looks beautiful. It looks beautiful. Would it make sense for a lot of these coins to just do this and just keep going down to nothing? No, that's not how price. Do you see, besides meme coins, do you see anything like this? I don't know what Loca is. It may be a meme coin. I have no idea. And then you go into the negative price targets. Yeah, that's impossible, right? So you're looking for at least some kind of bounce. Where would I look for a bounce to? Well, even if you're bearish on this project, let's pull our fibs. We pull our fib. We fib for all my fellow rappers out there. I don't know if you guys have never heard me drop bars. No, I don't really rap. I can't drop bars. Maybe I'll try sometime for you guys. But no, I don't really drop bars. But look at this. We could have a bearish retest up here, and you could create your lower high. You had a lower low. We created our high. We have a lower low. We haven't created that lower high yet on the macro. That may come in at the 618 up here at about 2480. That looks good, baby. That's a 100% gain from here. You're talking about 2, 3x, 4x leverage. Some of you ballsy guys, the 20x leverage on the Loca. It could look really, really good here for Loca in the near term for that bounce up into that bearish 618, 786 golden pocket. That's what I'm looking for Loca, baby. That's what I'm looking for Loca. Let's look at Bera for Wanda. Absolutely. Shout out to you, Bera, shout out to you, Wanda, in the chat. Thank you. Hey, everybody, if you guys want to look at altcoins, drop them in the chat. Drop your questions in the chat. How am I doing? Do you guys like this channel? I just started this 3 weeks ago. Shout out to you guys, every single one of my supporters. We are growing here. We are growing, and I just want to provide a positive community. I never aim to offend anybody. I make a lot of jokes, right? I never aim to offend anybody or anything. I'm just here to have a good time with you guys. I just want to hear how I'm doing. If you guys think I'm doing a good job, please let me know. If I'm not doing a good job, if I'm doing something that you guys are like, oh, that's horrible, Boys Crypto, or your videos are horrible, Boys Crypto, let me know. I want to hear from you guys. Drop it in the chat. Let me know how I'm doing. I really could use some good feedback, especially on my videos, baby. All right, Bera for Wanda. Bera, I have seen this pretty green over the last week or so on Crypto Bubbles anyway. Bera, baby, Bera on the daily. Newer project. Okay, so I don't know how old this project is. Let's see if we can pull it up on the USD. We got Binance. Yeah, since the Binance listing. Okay, new project since it got listed on Binance anyway. All right, let's dive on in. Okay, so Bera, this is so new that you don't even have a 4-hour 200 MA yet. You haven't had a 204-hour time period to give you that 200 MA. You got 203 hours, right? So Bera, right? You're looking to crack these 200 MAs. That's important. And again, I know nothing about this project. Nothing. Zero. None. Zip. Nada. They get a nice pump. Woo! What in the world there? They get a nice pump here on the 1 minute, and you may be flagging out here. This is just on the 1 minute. I'm speculating here because there's not a lot of data to go on the higher time frames. That is very true. Look at this VRVP. Good night. That is crazy. Okay, let's zoom on out. And see what we can work with here. Okay, so what I want to see is higher. You get a higher low there. You got an equal low. Okay, so you double bottomed in this range. That's a key level that I would keep on my radar. And you essentially, you double topped here. And now you're forming a range. And you've started forming a range ever since the 18th of February, right? You went to the top of the range, bottom of the range, top of the range, bottom of the range. And now you're kind of sitting in no man's land right here in the middle. What I don't want to see is anything like this. I don't want to see a flag form out here on Bera. If we flip this over, we invert it. Right, that does look like it doesn't look really good when you're looking at it upside down, right? Because it's hard to grasp. But flip this upside down, baby. Does this not look like it could form into some kind of flag here, right? Or maybe an extended version like this, right? And start consolidating a little longer. It does look like that's possible, right? We don't have the upper trend line established yet. This is just speculation on where this thing could go. But you do have this is inverted, right? So we're looking at it from a bearish perspective. So you do have that cup and the handle's trending sideways. That's not something I want to see for Bera here. That does not look good. That doesn't look good. I'll just be honest, right? You could also form, look at this here. If we don't get a pump up here and start gapping through this VRVP, you could potentially, let's get this out of here. You could have a shoulder, head, right shoulder scenario. Shoulder, head, and this could be your right shoulder down to the crypto abyss. That's not what we want to see for Bera. I don't know anything about this project. I can do a little research. I know it's in the top 100, isn't it? It has to be. I think Bera Bera, baby. Crypto bubbles, if you guys don't know what this is, crypto bubbles, super helpful when looking at the, 89 has a $724 million market cap for Bera. Yeah, very new, very new. Was trading up at 1324 at one point on its release on Binance, it looks like. Bera, baby, Bera. New project. Just like Hyperliquid, you get a new project and it releases, you got to keep these levels in mind. We have price discovery to the upside, and we also have it to the downside. A breakdown of this head and shoulders can lead you into that price discovery to the downside. You break this support level, right, and you're likely to go and start discovering prices to the down. If that double bottom doesn't save you, you could be down here very quickly for Bera. Look at this, baby. Whenever you got released on Binance, I don't even know what that pump was. It must have been absolutely ridiculous. But yeah, Bera kind of sitting underneath this 3-hour 200 MA. You got to start playing 200 MA dominoes here with this chain. Are you over the one? You're over the one. You're flagging out here. If you're looking to trade some high leverage, this does look pretty promising, right? If you're looking for a flag right now to the downside, right? You're forming that channel after that initial swing up for your flagpole, baby. This does look promising right here on the 1 minute time frame, right? Maybe you can get a little more juice out of this and start your way to the upside. That does look good. You got a really strong impulse there on the 1 minute. So you're looking for flags to kind of flag and drag your way out. Flag and drag, baby. Shout out to all my J4 League of Legends players. If you guys play League of Legends, shout out Michaela. I know you play some League of Legends. You were telling me that the other day whenever you won that giveaway. Shout out to you for winning that Solana giveaway, baby. We got another giveaway coming at 250 subscribers. We're giving away $250 in your favorite crypto. Any crypto you guys want besides Altcoin. I'm not giving away any Altcoin, baby. I won't do that to you guys. I can't do that. I'm not giving away Altcoin, right? Can't give away the next Bitcoin. Can't give away the next 10,000. No, I'm playing. I'll give you guys whatever you want. Whatever crypto you guys want, $250 coming your way at 250 subscribers. I'm super excited to do that with you guys here on the live. Again, for those of you who have not been here, I'll write a number like this. I'll write a number like this on a piece of paper. I'll write a number, and then I'll be like, hey, we're going to spam in the chat, baby. We're going to spam in the chat. Whoever gets the number first is the person who gets the prize. Last time, Michaela B, shout out to you, the winner. I held it up like this. 30, baby, 30. Michaela B, the first one to get it, and she was a legend. Cashed in on that Solana. I don't know if she cashed it out. I don't know if she sold it. I don't know if she's holding it. I don't know if she's staking it. But we talked about that. She actually didn't even have a Coinbase wallet. She was just very new to crypto. And I said, Michaela B, hey, I'm glad that you're reaching out. I'm glad that you won. We got it set up with a Coinbase, got us some free crypto and whatnot. It was really cool. So that's kind of what we're supporting here on this channel. I'm excited to do that with you guys. That's what I'm looking at for Bera right now. It could go either way. On the 1 minute, you're looking for scalps, right? To the upside, it does look promising. You want to wait for these stochastics to reset. That's looking good. Let's see how it looks on the 3. Okay, you're above the 200 MA. You got the golden cross going. How's the 5 looking? The 5, you got the golden cross coming in on the 5. That does look good. Whenever you get a golden cross, you do tend to get some continuation. That does look good for me in the near term. All right, everybody, moving on. What else we got in the chat? Let's dive in. 152 subs are already there. Shout out to you, Michaela B. Thank you for dropping that in. Emojis. Hey, yeah, you guys are awesome. Thanks, doing a good job, Wanda. Your favorite crypto streamer from April. You're a legend. I appreciate you. Billy Joint, what's going on? Just stopping in, saying hi. Doing other stuff right now. Hey, I appreciate you dropping in, man. Saying hi. Cheers to you. Hey, April, welcome. What's up? Hey, Michaela, really new and still figuring out what I want to do. Holding the Solana for now. Good to hear. Hey, speculatively, it's going to get added to the crypto reserve. We'll see. Solana, baby. I am seeing weakness for Solana here in the near term. Let's look at the Solana market dominance. Kind of making a little bit of a climb here. Whenever you're looking at this in terms of a percentage, it's just a percentage of the entire crypto market cap that Solana holds, right? So Solana needs a bounce. We talked about it, baby. Solana needs a bounce. It needs a bounce and needs it fast. This does not look good. If this was inverted, we'd be like, oh, baby, to the upside. It does not look good for Solana. I'm not going to lie to you guys here in the near term. But that is what I'm looking at from a broader market perspective. I wasn't awake for the summit, but I was going over some of the big things that they did release, right? They had this really weird looking table. I thought like a meeting, you would have a circular table, right? But it wasn't like that. It was like the shape of a field goal post, like those thigh gaps, right? And everybody was sitting around. So you couldn't really see. And there were like 50 people across. So you couldn't really see anybody when they were talking. They were just staring at their desk when they were talking. I was like, that was really weird for how that came about, right? But they talked about the stablecoin legislation. You know, they wanted to get rid of a lot of the chokehold points that the Biden administration had. They did ask this: was there going to be a plan to sell gold for Bitcoin? The answer was no, tentatively, right? And there's no evidence or anything like that. But yeah, I was going through some of these, and it was pretty interesting to read about, but I did not actually attend the summit. I was sleeping, baby. I was asleep, and I trade mostly during the Asian market hours, so that's what I was looking at. Okay, diving on over in. Let's see how our trades are doing. Cooking, baby, cooking. We're going to the upside for Bitcoin. Getting that bounce on the 4-hour time frame, looking really good. Going into the night, I am speculating on us running throughout the night, everybody. It looks good. I'm positioned for that. It feels really, really good getting that higher low on the 4-hour that we talked about. Posted over there for your convenience on X. If you guys do not follow me at BoyceCrypto102 until we get this Discord set up, which is currently in the making, everybody. We are going to get a Discord set up, free Discord, until we get too much of a following that we could start getting some paid subscribers out of it. But all of you guys will be put in there for free. If you guys do decide to join us, we'll just hang out. We'll trade crypto. We'll talk about ideas, share ideas all the way throughout the day. I'll be taking my morning doo-doo, and I'll be putting my ideas and thoughts in there to you guys. I'm super excited to do that for you. I'll be active all the time, every single day for you guys. Much love, much love. Okay, diving on in. Let's see. Hey, Billy Joint, what's going on? Blaze on Coinbase from Sin Nasty Kid. Let's look at it, man. Let's look at it. Blaze, baby. Blaze, Blizzard. Yeah, I don't know. What is this? Woo! Got a rocket shot from the 5th of March, just a couple days ago. Woo-hoo! Look at that squeeze. That's what I'm talking about, ladies and gentlemen. Look at this. When you're thinking about shorting these assets, eventually there's going to be a whale that comes for all this liquidity. There just will be. There will be. And they'll be like, hey, everybody's shorting this. Short. And the liquidity, the short squeeze, all they need to do is buy up enough to start triggering stop losses to the upside. And that'll get price to squeeze. Because what happens whenever you get stopped out on a short? It executes a buy order for the asset. What happens when you get stopped out on a long? It executes a short order. That's how cascading liquidations happen. And just like they happen to the downside, they can happen to the upside. A perfect example here. As Blaze getting listed on Coinbase, regardless of the news, massive short squeeze, right? Massive short squeeze stopped out a lot of people. 180% pump in 48 hours for the asset. A colossal squeeze to the upside. So when you're looking at divergences, that's what you're looking to capitalize on, right? If you do catch a nice divergence here, which, I mean, you could argue that there was one the entire time. Let's clear this up. There was a daily divergence, and you've been suffering. You've been suffering if you've been holding this asset, right? Like on the daily. You've had massive swing down. You've had, equal lows on the RSI, arguably, right? Over the past forever. That daily divergence never played out. But this divergence does say you will crack eventually this high before this low. And boom, baby, boom, you did. So before going lower, you would crack this high. Look at that wick. Wick's right over. You could have taken profit right there. I'm not saying I would have been in this trade. The amount of fear in this project must have been crazy. But a Coinbase listing, Coinbase will list when they have the amount. They need to have the asset. They can't list something and not have it available for sale. So in order to get that, how do they do it? They need to buy. And they're going to be buying in areas like this, putting limit orders down here until they're like, all right, we're ready to list. The asset shoots through the moon, and that's how Coinbase can make a lot of money buying things on the cheap, releasing them, and getting everybody to pump in on that centralized exchange, the most popular exchange in the United States due to its regulatory clarity. So Coinbase, baby, Brian Armstrong making a good amount of money on that squeeze, baby, on that squeeze. They also collect on the fees, right? So not only did they get all their coins down here, they sold them up here all the way through this range. They sold them, right? And are collecting on trading fees. Coinbase, baby, that's how the business works. That's how the business works. So what would I be looking for, right, off of that listing? I'll be looking for from this, because this was a break in market structure. You had a new higher high, right? So now what do you have to do? You have to speculate on a higher low. And how would I do that? I would swing low to swing high. I'll be looking for a 786 bounce here, coming in around the 21 daily, coming in around that 39.05 level, 3 and 9/10 of a penny, 3 pennies and 9/10 of a penny. That's what I'll be looking at on the 786. That looks really, really good to me here in the near term. Getting that squeeze on the Coinbase listing news. A great call, man. Great call. Thanks for bringing that to our attention. Hey, guys, everybody, we've been going strong. We've been going strong, baby, for an hour and a half. Thank you, everybody, for joining me tonight on tonight's live streams. You guys are absolute legends. Drop a like, comment, subscribe if you're not subscribed. I'm very happy that you are here, and I'm excited to share this journey with you as we continue to trade every single night here on the live. You guys got my trades right here. We are booming, baby. Booming to the the upside. That's what we're looking at here in the near term. Crypto bubbles. Let's see if we can get this to turn around. We got green on the 5, 15, and 1 hour time frames, baby. Let's get this pumping to the upside. Thank you for sharing your Friday night with me. This is a low liquidity weekend. Just make sure that you are practicing great risk management over this weekend, as the liquidity is very low, so the whales can do whatever they want. We've seen it on the weekend before. We'll see it in the future again on the weekends, baby. Thank you, everybody, for joining me tonight. I will see you tomorrow night on the live. Stand by for the video. Until next time, Boys Crypto is